there is a single worst piece of advice on how to protect your online privacy, it'll be without a doubt using a VPN. I can't even count how many times I've seen this advice all over the internet. How do I stop Google from tracking me?
Use a VPN.
How do I buy weed online anonymously?
Use a VPN.
How to not get caught watching porn in your mom's basement?
Hey, Vsauce! Michael here.
This advice honestly so bad it's borderline malicious or just plain stupid. People who follow up on it end up with a false sense of security at best, or even in a worse situation than without a VPN at worst.
System breach. Firewall 1.
We're being hacked.
Well, how could they find us?
VPNs are so prevalent nowadays, yet they have never been so unnecessary. The market is incredibly saturated with VPN providers, and VPN ads are so common right now, there are more YouTube sponsorship deals for VPNs than there ever were for Squarespace. I don't have a problem with people promoting VPNs or trying to make money with VPN affiliate links. I have a problem with how VPNs are being sold to people and how damaging this marketing practice actually is. I've done a few videos on this topic already, especially when comparing VPNs with Tor. But in this video, I want to bust some of the most common and damaging myths about VPNs. And to do that, I brought in Henry to help us out on this mission.
Meet Henry, Europe's favorite fast and friendly professional vacuum cleaner.
No, not that Henry. This Henry, from the Techlore YouTube channel. Yes, it's happening. An epic collab. On with the video now. You can still use a VPN if you want to, but do so for the right reasons and with the right expectations. I use VPNs also, but I do it knowing their limitations and adjusting my behavior accordingly. VPNs certainly do have their use cases, but none of them involve wearing an anonymous mask. Everybody knows you wear a mask to surf the dark web. Myth number 1. VPNs make you anonymous. The most common and deceptive claim I've seen is using a VPN makes you instantly anonymous. Let me phrase it this way. How can you claim to be anonymous if there is a group of people you've never seen that knows who you are, where you are, and what you're doing online? You see, many VPN providers make big claims about hiding your IP address, which is supposed to make it impossible for someone to see your traffic or know your true IP address. Except for the VPN provider. They get to see your IP address and what servers you request. If Edward Snowden used a VPN to leak the NSA documents, he'd get caught before he even thought about stealing the documents.
NANI?
Yet very few VPN providers are actually honest about the fact they are your single point of failure you're paying for with your money or data, or both. And those that are make broad marketing claims about no logs policy, which doesn't actually mean anything because every network operator keeps some logs for at least some period of time. That's like private instant messaging apps claiming they have no metadata policy. That's impossible. Some basic information about your requests has to travel through their servers, and you'll never have a chance to find out what they actually keep and for how long, unless they are kind enough to disclose that information in plain English somewhere in their privacy policies. Even if your VPN provider does everything right, and they delete all the logs immediately from their records, even then you're still entitled to have no expectations of anonymity. Using a VPN, you're only rerouting your traffic through a single entity. Advanced observers like big ISP companies, Google, Amazon, or your government can easily correlate the timings between you making a connection to a VPN server with that server making a connection to a website you want to see. VPN technology does nothing to mitigate these correlation attacks. Anonymity with VPNs is technologically impossible. Next myth: VPN should be combined with Tor. Take it away, Henry.
This is another common myth that's also frequently marketed by VPNs themselves as either being Tor compatible or going as far as including Tor into the VPN itself. Combining Tor over a VPN is useful to hide Tor usage from an ISP or circumventing censorship of the Tor network, but Tor Bridges also does this without reliance on a VPN's single point of failure and payment trail. As for VPN over Tor, this will help correlate all of your traffic to a single VPN's IP address and break the Tor anonymity model, also making it a hard thing to recommend. The reality is, if you don't know what you're doing, you should probably not combine Tor with a VPN. The complexity of this is pretty thorough, and there are several configurations with different pros and cons, which you shouldn't bother with unless you absolutely need to and you know what you're doing. Tor itself is a great tool that will more than protect almost every threat model, and a VPN doesn't need to be part of that equation. This also applies to VPNs that offer Tor over VPN. Just don't use it. Just use the VPN when using a VPN, and just use Tor when you're using Tor. Both myself and the Hated One made a video comparing Tor to VPNs over on my channel.
Next myth, VPNs encrypt your traffic. This myth you will endlessly hear, and it's that VPNs encrypt your traffic. And not just using any encryption, it's military-grade encryption. But guess what? It's not 2004 anymore.
During my service in the United States Congress, I took the initiative in creating the internet.
Almost everything today is encrypted by default. You can thank Edward Snowden for this, when he revealed the secret documents about NSA surveillance, and when everybody freaked out as a result and started encrypting everything. Your Wi-Fi network is encrypted, and almost every website you visit is encrypted with HTTPS. Transport layer encryption is a standard for today's apps and connections. And for those that aren't encrypted, VPN encryption is not gonna change anything. Why? Because VPNs don't just encrypt your traffic, they also decrypt your traffic. So when your packets leave a VPN server, they lose all the shiny military-grade protection you were duped to pay for. If you want to protect your traffic, don't go to an unencrypted website. Next myth, using a VPN protects your identity. Another one for you, Henry.
This myth comes as a result of the constant bombardment of false marketing performed by VPN companies claiming to make you anonymous, hide your identity, promise immediate privacy and security, and more. The reality is the two main things a VPN does is hide your IP address from the sites you visit and encrypts your traffic within its tunnel, which the last myth covered limitations with even this. Really, the main thing that's happening is you're shifting trust from your internet service provider to the VPN company. This, in combination with a lot of other precautions, which are talked about in our Becoming Anonymous guide and Go Incognito, PrivacyTools.io, and the Hated Ones channel also covers this. All of these tips can help protect your identity. But just downloading a VPN to your system and expecting it to somehow magically protect your identity is a complete joke. It's just not that simple, and anyone claiming instant anonymity and privacy through a product is lying to you.
Next myth, VPNs make you private. As soon as I say VPN encryption is redundant, there are gonna be comments about how VPNs make your traffic invisible to your internet service provider and the government. And people say this because, indeed, your ISP doesn't immediately see what domains you visit, and domains don't immediately see your IP address. But VPNs only address a single issue in a massive pile of problems with mass surveillance. Your ISP or the government have several options to figure out what websites you connect to with your VPN, including aforementioned correlation attacks, tracking scripts on websites and inside apps, tracking your device identifiers or browser fingerprint, or they can just go to the VPN provider and ask for your data. Many VPN servers or providers reside in jurisdictions where law enforcement or private entities can request access, and VPNs have to comply, or they just comply willingly. Virtual private networks weren't designed for privacy. They weren't even designed for consumer use. VPNs were designed for businesses to have secure communication between remote offices and workers back in the day when most traffic on the internet was not encrypted. Because all VPN providers inherently see your IP address and know what connections you make. You just have to blindly trust them with your data the same way you trust your ISP. And it's not just your VPN provider you have to delegate trust with your data to. It's an undisclosed amount of third parties most VPNs are renting their servers from. It's up to their privacy policies whether they log your activity or not. Newsflash, most providers are logging. Next myth. Using a VPN stops Facebook from tracking you. Perhaps the dumbest myth on this list is that using a VPN prevents an ex-company from tracking you. The reality is, using a VPN changes nothing when you face advanced trackers. Trackers gonna track. Your IP address that VPNs so viciously protect is only one out of hundreds or even thousands of data points that can be used to identify and track you. Your device IDs, account IDs, social media accounts, cookies, cache, hardware configuration, software configuration, system version, screen resolution, battery life, keystroke patterns, camera, microphone, Bluetooth, cellular, Wi-Fi, credit card, contacts, metadata. Data collection is still happening with or without a VPN. Next myth. VPN hides your location. challenging the previous myth's top position in dumbness. It's often touted that using a VPN hides your location from Ben Shapiro. And as much as I wish that was true,
wet ass P-word.
It's not. IP address is only one metric for tracking someone's location, and not a very precise one. All radio signals can be used to track your location, including Bluetooth, cellular, and GPS, none of which using a VPN does anything with. But hey, you might object, I use a VPN on my laptop, and there is no GPS or SIM card, and I can disable Bluetooth. Sure you can. But if you're using your laptop anywhere near your phone, there are techniques that can link your devices and determine they both belong to you. Let's say you have an app on your phone with Facebook SDK in it. This Facebook SDK can track your GPS or cellular connection radiating from your phone. Now, you open up your laptop and browse a website with Facebook's tracking script embedded. That tracking script can use microphones and speakers on your devices to inaudibly communicate information to each other and link your VPN laptop with your phone that has active GPS or cellular connection. Thus, not only can Facebook correlate your identity from your phone with your browser activity on your laptop, they can also get your location in real time and figure out you are a user of a VPN service. For the majority of use cases, you can replace a paid or untrustworthy VPN service for a completely free and open source and actually anonymous Tor network. Definitely check out Techlore's video comparing VPNs with Tor, where I'm featured as well. Again, I still find use cases for a VPN where Tor doesn't suffice, and that is streaming HD video, online gaming, and torrenting. Big thanks to Henry from Techlore for collaborating on this video. Go subscribe to him, help him reach 100k subscribers, and if you're feeling extra grateful for our free content, support us on our Patreons or channel memberships. Thank you for watching.